This is Royce Hall, your host of the Coffee Dreamin Podcast, your online network for sales leaders, operations leaders, marketing leaders connected to the Salesforce ecosystem. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Hey, I'm Royce Hall, your host of the Coffee Dreamin Podcast. I'm a Salesforce consultant by day and podcaster by night. I'm joined today by Tony Jalan, who is a growth strategist. Great to have you today, Tony.
Hey, it's great to have you. I even have my coffee too this morning, so
Hey.
we're truly living Coffee is Dreamin.
Right there. Very good.
Let's go.
Oh, don't get me started on that. We can talk coffee forever. So, Tony, tell us about what you're doing. And I always like to ask people, what is your why behind it? Like, why are you doing what you
So I'm currently working with Heartland Payment Systems as a growth strategist for financial institutions. My role is to enable them in developing programs to refer merchants over to Heartland, at the same time growing their books of business, at the same time growing our book of business.
Right on. That's complex. So, like, unpack that a little bit for me. How do you help them figure that out?
All right. So a lot of it is just a lot of phone calls and understanding like what are their needs, what are their customer needs, and providing them the tools and resources to help those customers out. Like in the banking world, a lot of times they're going after increasing the amount of deposits, right? But also they're trying to find ways to help their customers grow. So at Heartland, our goal is to provide them products and resources to help their customers grow, reduce risk and liabilities, and streamline their cash flow and operations. So my job is to come up with programs to do that.
Right on. And you've been doing that for a long time. Like I was looking at you on your LinkedIn profile. I think it says you have like 18 years in at Heartland. That's a long time. Congratulations to you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's interesting because I started out in the field sales world as a sales rep, knocking on doors, saying hi to people, writing out thank you cards. And I loved it, right? Getting a chance to hear the stories of why people start their businesses and helping them grow it and helping them figure out ways to remove that obstacle to grow it. It's been huge. I did it for a long time. Actually, about close to 17 years, I was in the direct field sales channel. And then last summer, it was time for a change. And I was offered this opportunity by our leadership. Says, hey, we want you to come on here, help us develop systems and processes to go ahead and help grow our financial institution partnerships. And it's been one heck of a ride. And I absolutely love doing what I do because I get to do a lot of problem solving and solution provided.
Right on. Well, tell me a little bit about a few things that you've learned along the way, a few things that stand out to you. I think, before we started recording the show, you're talking about, how do you build wealth? What does that look like? So share a few gems with us, if you will.
Yeah, like I said, I was in the full-time sales world. I still feel like I'm in sales too. Like sales is really, truly influence. That's it. It's like leadership. Everything rises and falls on influence. And I think we all want, especially in the sales world, we want to, earn more income. Also want to buy more time, right?
Right.
Lifestyle. I think the best way to do that is to adding value to others. They say the bigger the problems you solve, the bigger you get paid. But a lot of times we truly want to make it about us. But in reality, if you look at all the people who have accomplished great things in terms of growing tremendous businesses, is because they brought more value to the world. And asking yourself, like, how can I use the gifts that I have and add value to others? And I think we have that focus. You grow wealth.
I love that, and I think you kind of hit on something. You mentioned that as a salesperson, you went door to door and you're aggressive, and there's a lot of coaching around that, right? There's a lot of coaching around like, okay, how do you make that cold call? How many do you have to make a day? How many do you have to make a month to hit your quota? And we focus a lot on like, okay, if I put X input in, I hope Y income comes out and I get, X size commission. But what you're saying is kind of above that, right? Instead of focusing on that, okay, how do I get that commission? How many cold calls do I have to make? We have to think less about like, pushing my product as fast as I can to as many people as I can, and focus on that value. Now, does that, like, for the salespeople listening, like, that requires more finesse, right? That requires more thinking caps on. Does that slow things down? Does that make sales harder, or how does that, what's the net effect there?
That's a great question. I think a lot of times in sales, and people have this misconception of a good salesperson. They say, oh, he's a good talker. Hey, you should go into sales because you're a good talker. And yes, the ability to communicate does help. However, though, I've learned in sales, because I've coached, hundreds and hundreds of sales professionals. I've been on thousands of sales appointments, literally. And the thing that I've learned is that build the relationships, the money follows. And a lot of times it comes down to being curious, because curiosity and resistance cannot coexist. So an example of that would be, we sat down and talked today, right? Most time we get in a sales point, especially if it's one of those consultative type sales calls, we're going through our agenda and everything like that. But there's a question most people don't ever ask. And I think if you ask this question, you're going to hear exactly what you need to tell them in order to help them. And it's this. So, hey, Royce, out of curiosity today, like, really, what's the outcome you want to get out of our meeting? Because they agreed for a reason. It could be because your persistence is heck and your persistence broke down their resistance, right? But there's a reason for it. And 9 times out of 10, we don't uncover it. We make these assumptions that this is what they need without really understanding what they need. So your question is, can it slow down the sales process? Yes. Could it speed it up? Yes. Because sometimes people just need to talk. And most people don't give people that room to share what's truly on their mind.
That's a great point. And, I think about, in terms of speed, like, that's going to slow down the front end of that process.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, like, there's, like, if you have an hour-long discovery call, like, you gotta be saying something. So, right. Like, is it the most important thing or not? Are we focusing on what's actually driving the deal or not? But on the back end, it's going to speed up the sell because, like, you've aligned with the internal buyers, you've aligned with the business purposes, and unlocked, what is actually driving that deal. And I think a lot of times we think in terms of like KPIs, right? I've got the use case. Here's the case studies. Here's the KPIs that matter. Well, doesn't matter to the person you're talking to, though.
Right.
Like, you can never assume.
And that's so true. I remember this was years ago. I was doing a lot of travel from Milwaukee to Chicago. And I wanted a vehicle that was really comfortable on the road because I was in my car a lot. And so I found a car online. It was this one Lexus car. And I'm like, man, it had the best rated seats for traveling. That's truly the reason why I like this car. I mean, this car is kind of nice, too, not going to lie, right? And so I make this appointment, I never forget, it's at 5:30 to go ahead and demo the car. I get there, the guy's all excited, right? He's opening up all the car doors, opening up the hood, talking to me about, this is the kind of engine it has. It has this kind of like safety system on it. And in a half an hour, there's not one conversation about why I booked it in the first place. And I was kind of annoyed, to be honest with
you. Yeah. Well, did you buy the car?
I did not buy the car.
There you go.
And because what happened is that, I literally stopped in the conversation and asked him, I go, I'm just curious, do you know why I booked this appointment? Because I'm not like a car guy. He goes, I don't know. And you could tell the light bulbs goes off in his head. He goes, why? I go, because I want to see how this travels on the highway. So I do a lot of driving. And the seats are supposed to be pretty doggone comfortable. He goes, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, man, why didn't I ask you that? I go, I have no idea. But I like you. He was a nice guy and everything like that. And the point of that story is that it's hard to influence someone until you know what influences them.
Hmm.
And it's when we make those assumptions, and there's truth in those assumptions, right? By what we see and what we hear. But let's confirm those before making them. So, like I said, I mean, I was one of those people that got to make the calls, right? Yeah, you got to make the calls. Because unfortunately, not everyone's waking up in the morning going, I want Salesforce today,
Right.
I want that phone call. I mean, it is a numbers game to that degree, but what you put into those numbers matter too.
Right. I think that's where, like, as you become better about that, like that, knowing those things, like not everybody's incredibly forthcoming about, what they truly want, right? So, having those case studies are important, but, again, like you figure out, like a lot of times we figure out, like, oh, like we can increase productivity by 17%. It's like, okay, like, sure, I want that. But a lot of times it's more personal, like, oh my gosh, like I just hate filling out that form every freaking time.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's the same thing when you boil it down, but when you can put it in their own language, it
Right.
becomes powerful, and that becomes shareable as well. So, the guy that you're buying the car from, like, you know, sometimes that helps to be like, okay, like, some people come to me, they want something that's powerful that can,
Right.
take down the neighbor in a drag race. Some people, like, they want to travel, and like they're
Right.
looking for a comfortable ride. Like, what is it? What's the experience that you're looking for? And they'll tell you.
They'll 100% tell you. But I mean, I think people are not sold on what you tell them. They're sold on what they understand and connect with.
Yeah. Well, I think modern times as well, like there's so much power in the buyer's hands. Like the buyer, like going back to your car example again,
Yeah.
like you knew why you wanted to buy that car before the salesman ever said anything, right? So
Right.
there's, you know, it's a different experience these days of like, okay, I've done my research, I know what I'm
Mm.
looking for, and I probably know a decent amount about, like, in that situation, you probably didn't know anything about the salesperson, but like people can look me up on LinkedIn, they can look you up on LinkedIn, they can form an opinion about you and your company and your services before they ever talk to you, and that can be
Right.
good or bad, but again, they're coming in with more robust thoughts, and unpacking those up front helps a lot.
And a lot of times they're coming to the table with a lot more questions. Because I truly believe every answer will lead to three more questions.
Yeah.
And some of it is because they want to get a confirmation on what their thought was, or two, they didn't understand it. So I think we're living in an age right now where the mentality of be quick to listen and slow to speak really pays off.
So we've talked a good amount about discovery. We've talked about building wealth, and who influences you. Is there maybe one or two more things that are top of mind that you're like, I wish I knew this earlier, or I wish that somebody told me this earlier in my career that you'd like to share with us?
Reflection. I think we're sometimes in such a go, go, go mode that we don't take a moment to reflect and inspect until we have to. Oh, I'm going to have that meeting with my sales manager. Oh, I got to make sure I got all my numbers right. And I think, one of the things that really has helped my productivity over the years, and also some of my sanity, and allows me to be more present with my family, is at the each end of every day, reflect on the day. And people go, I don't like when I'm doing executive coaching or something like that. They're like, oh, I just have such a problem shutting off. So, when did you shut off? I don't know how. Do you unpack your day? No, not until like 9, 10 o'clock at night. Well, that's probably the reason why. So at the end of every day, I reflect. I ask myself, what were my wins today? What went well? What did I learn? What were some of my challenges? What's some of my questions? And then what's my outcome I want for tomorrow? That's it. Answer those questions at the end every day. And it's like me closing my cash register at the end of the night. So that way I can go ahead and be present for the other things I want to be present for. And it's amazing when you go back and start looking at that, because I do that, then I put my plan together for the next day. And you look and you start to see trends. And people go like, God, I was so successful XYZ time. Well, why were you? Well, I don't really know, because they didn't document it. If it's not documented, it doesn't exist. So that's my big thing is reflect and inspect. Everyone set these forward goals, but you got to truly stop and reflect on what's going on. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes.
So are you actually like journaling this or? Okay.
Yep. I have my notes app. Type in my notes app. And then I put my plan together for the next day. Like, what's my outcome I want for the next day? What are my appointments? And I break it down into categories. And then I plan tomorrow today. And literally, I do it every day of the week, Monday through Sunday. And people go to me, I don't know if I can do that. But then those same people go, I don't know how you do all these things that you do. Because of reflection. That's the one thing. When I started doing that, the game changed for me. I went from working 60, 70, 80 hours a week to half that time. But also at the same time, doubling and tripling my income. And it allowed me to help other people do the same too. Because I realized they were in the same kind of trap that I was in. And that's no fun. It's not sustainable.
So let me ask you. Then. So if somebody wants to do that training with you, if somebody says like, yeah, like I'm not a systematic thinker. Like I just grip it and rip it. I just go for it. Like how do we find you? How do we work with you?
It's simple. Just go on LinkedIn. Send me a DM. I'm pretty easy to find. Type in my name. I'll come up pretty easily. You'll find a guy with a smile but with an orange background.
Right on. Is there any website or any upcoming event that we should be aware of?
Not yet. Not yet. I think you simply follow me on LinkedIn. That's where I share any information, on different programs I'm doing, trainings I'm doing, leadership thoughts that I share. It's literally all good. Just find me on LinkedIn.
Very good. Well, we'll find you on LinkedIn. Reach out to Tony if you need any help with that systematic thinking and coaching. And definitely if you need any help with payment processing as well.
No doubt. Hey, Royce, thanks a million for going ahead and having me on. It's absolutely been a pleasure. I look forward to talking to you more about coffee and whatnot, but you're doing a good thing, my friend. Keep it up.
Thanks, Tony. Well, I appreciate you being on here.
You got it.
Take care.